I'm looking forward to them sharing their journey with us today.
Platforms for in-pipe water main inspection.
World's first fully autonomous airship.
Animals are actually communicating with artificial intelligence. We can finally start decoding what it is they have been saying all along.
All right. Thank you so much for taking the journey down here in the room, side stage 2, the best stage there is. And my name is Chris Suzdak. We engage partners. We help SAN build and sell with partners. And so as you saw in the keynote earlier, it's exciting times where we have our SandOS and SandOS Marketplace, and we have 3 amazing founders today, and we'll be able to showcase them. They have some really incredible innovation and are great, perfect examples of the types of technologies and partner capabilities and data and sensors that we can integrate within our operating system. And so they have many TED Talks that they're going to take us through today. They're not pitching for investment. They're sharing with us their missions and the technologies that they've developed under the banner of physical AI, right? So their technologies can sense, analyze, and act. And it's quite impressive what they've been able to do. And I'm looking forward to them sharing their journey with us today. So we have 3 founders. We have Dr. Demetris Coleman, who is the co-founder and CTO of MotMot. You saw Fred during his keynote hold up their MotBot drone from MotMot, and we'll hear about his story and their technology. We have Spencer Horne, who Fred also shouted out, who has that incredible airship. If you didn't miss it in the lobby, he's the founder and CEO of Cloudline from South Africa and an alum of the African Leadership Academy. And we have Sára Nožková, all the way from Sweden, but relocated to the US to build her business with her co-founder. She's the CEO of Flox Intelligence. Apologies for the typo there. Flox Intelligence, another incredible company that she'll take us through. So we'll go through that order. Each founder will get 10 minutes. I will be aggressively cutting them off at 10 minutes. I've hosted a lot of sessions with founders. It's hard to stop a founder talking to a crowd because they want to tell the story to the world. So, but I will keep us to time so we can make sure to get to lunch after this. So without any further delay, Demetris, over to you. Let's see what you got.
So, hello everyone. All right, and I'll just jump right into it. So, water seeps into almost every aspect of modern human society. We drink it, we use it to shower, we even prepare our food with it. And that's just the tip of the surface. None of the industries that keep our society moving smoothly
will work without safe, clean drinking water being easily accessible to millions of people every day without a second thought. So many of us enjoy this convenience because there's 2.3 million miles of hidden underground infrastructure that transports safe, clean drinking water to us every day.
However, half of those pipes that are delivering our water are at or beyond their expected life. So as a consequence of this, we see about 240,000 water main breaks per year in the US alone. And this leads to loss of access of water. It causes large capital expenditures for replacing that infrastructure and the damage caused by the water that's leaking out. And also we lose revenue on the water that we could have sold that's now wasted. And it's estimated that $625 billion will be needed just to replace the aging infrastructure in the US over the next 20 years. So one extreme example of the consequences is a water main break that happened in Detroit last February. There was a 54-inch water main that broke, flooded neighborhoods, stranded residents, and caused massive property damage. So the bill to fix this, between compensating the residents, fixing the infrastructure, and like replacing property, was about $10 million, which is huge. So unfortunately, a lot of management of these pipes happens reactively. We fix what's broken once we notice it. And there are inspection tools, but they're expensive and hard for a lot of communities to adopt at scale. So they opt for this more reactive approach. And sometimes they use good engineering guesswork based on maybe the material of the pipe and the age of the pipe to plan projects to replace these water mains. And that's good, but it's proactive, but it's guesswork. So how can we move from this reactive or attempt at proactivity to something more reliable for managing our critical infrastructure? So that's where MOT comes in. We aim to make this critical infrastructure more visible and augment these good engineering guesswork with empirical data. So this is like our mission, to give cities eyes and ears beneath their feet, using intelligent monitoring and predictive analytics for smarter, more resilient water infrastructure. So what we actually do is we build robotic platforms for in-pipe water main inspection. And this gives cities that eyes and ears inside their pipes so that they can better manage their assets. Currently, we have 2 robots. Our first gen is, both of them are designed to work in water-filled pressurized pipelines. The first generation is able to go in pipes down to a diameter of 8 inches, while we're currently actively developing a smaller version that's able to access fire hydrants, which gives a lot of communities more of an incentive to work with us because we don't have to do any construction to enter their water main infrastructure. So these robots have like cameras, audio, pressure sensors, so they can record data as they move through the pipes, and we can report that back to cities. Currently, the inspections are tethered, so we have a tethers for safety and manual control as we're building out our software to eventually go fully autonomous. Well, speaking of that, like right now, AI at Mount Mott's looks like augmenting our small team of engineers as we inspect these pipes and build out our technology. We're developing and building robots and algorithms such as simultaneous localization and mapping, and also defect detection algorithms so that the robot can understand the world around it as it moves through it. And in the future, we plan on using this data that we're curating, basically, so we can train a deep learning model for water main inspection. Is to go from assessing the current condition of the pipe to predicting the future condition of the pipe, so we can tell cities how long they have before operating their pipe is a critical risk, and their pipes have a high likelihood of bursting. We also plan to use more generative AI to automate the reports that we're building now from the data that we're analyzing and giving out to communities, to kind of automate this process to make just delivery of our reports faster. And on the robotic side of things, we're developing algorithms so instead of us manually controlling, the robot can plan where and when it needs to go somewhere, and then also developing the algorithms to help it physically move and execute the plans that it makes. And eventually we plan to have just a fully autonomous inspection tool that we can just put in the pipes. It'll go do the inspection and bring back the data for cities to act on. Yeah. And so this is just a demo of our technology. So we built a roughly 10 by 10 foot octagon that we can put our robot in and use it. Right now we're using it with a tether, but we also have autonomous capabilities, which will show up in a bit. So, yeah. Yep. Yep. And also I'll have a actual robot here just in demo mode so you guys can see physical sides if you want to come up later or to our booth and check it out. Yeah, and this is our Gen 2 first prototype. So, yeah. And that's probably good. Go to the next one. All right. Oh. All right. And I just want to talk about one successful deployment that we had. So we went to a city in Southwest Michigan late last year, and we met with some of the city's water department employees. They helped us get access into one of their pipes that was connected to a water storage tank. And we actually put our robot in the pipe, go down and collect some data. Yeah, it was a fun time. We saw somebody actually get in there. It was hilarious, but yeah, we were able to collect basically high resolution video. You can see a still from one of those videos of what the inside of that pipe looks like. And this pipe hasn't been inspected since they installed it into their system. So this was like a huge asset to them. And they were actually able to get funding for a project to upgrade this pipe based on our report that we generated. So, and it's projects like this that motivate ModMod to keep building so that we can give our cities more manageable assets.
Next up, we have Spencer from Cloudline.
Thank you, Chris. Good morning, everyone. Less than 1% of the world today has actually been imaged at drone level resolution. That's for one clear reason. It's the cost. It's very, very clear that the bottleneck on unlocking the full potential of physical AI, of infrastructural AI, is the quality of the data we can feed into these models. And airborne data is notoriously difficult and expensive to acquire. You're typically making trade-offs between reach, resolution, and frequency. Satellites have the ultimate reach. They can see square kilometers or square miles at a time. And they can do so at a frequency of roughly 90 minutes as they go around the Earth, but they suffer on the resolution front. When you get to crewed aircraft such as helicopters and small planes, what you end up with is being able to get greater reach than what you could with a drone and reasonable resolution, but these operations are so expensive you may go out and inspect assets perhaps once a year, if that. And then when you get to drones, which have become, at least they feel ubiquitous now, we see in fact that because they are still so limited in reach, in spite of the fact that they have achieved the gold standard in terms of resolution, we just haven't seen that show up in the data. This is Cloudline's answer. Thank you. Thank you. What you have just witnessed is not some kind of prototype. This is a production aircraft. It has been fully certified. We have 2 models that have been certified, and it's been in commercial use. I think we need to go back a little bit. Oh no, this is correct. So Cloudline resolves that trade-off and tension between reach and resolution. I've put together this chart for you. Please don't look for a scale. I spent a bit of time in management consulting, so it's just a 2x2 matrix. where we are trading off that resolution for reach, which typically for aircraft is reflected in the endurance of the platform. And what you can see is that we've got really high resolution from drones, but very, very low endurance. And there's a curve which goes down helicopters, airplanes which have to fly higher, so you get slightly less good quality data. Those are the sort of long endurance drone platforms that you see, for example, in military applications, and then eventually satellites. And this is where you find Cloudline today, and this is where we aim to be within the next 18 months, running on fuel cells and flying for 3 days non-stop. This is the world's first fully autonomous airship. It is the world's first solar-powered aircraft you can actually buy. It is also the autonomous platform which is electrically powered, which has the greatest combination of payload and range. That means when you multiply those two numbers together, a roughly 400-kilometer range on a good day, and 40 kilograms, you get 16,000 kilometers as a metric, compound metric. Now that reach and resolution can be adjusted to fly in exactly the right combination to unlock infrastructural AI and to meet the client's need. The LiDAR we've been able to gather from our surveys is an order of magnitude higher in resolution than what is currently done by light aircraft in the industry. We've just signed our first North American customer in the gas transmission sector for pipeline patrol. They do LiDAR to ensure that the ground has not subsided and damaged their pipelines. These are underground pipelines. The standard they use for geohazard detection is 20 to 30 points per square meter. But an even bigger implication of being able to go at this resolution is getting through vegetation, which means that in the summer months when the entire northeast coast has all of these surveys on pause as they wait for the leaf off seasons, Cloudline will be able to serve that market and operate and deliver that data when it's most relevant. We've been able to mount and carry sensors which are otherwise too heavy for drones. Pictured here is a $500,000 gravity sensor, which we can fly to do mineral exploration, to find water underground. This sensor measures the density of the Earth under the flight path. And finally, when we think about, we've been hearing about digital twinning, when we think about using digital twins specifically for change detection, thinking back to that frequency, if you get out more often and build a longitudinal data set, you are able now to do change detection at a whole new level, and you're able to log those changes within your system. Thank you all so much. Oh, I have another one if this will play. This one is playing. That's a single platform. Let's use our imaginations to imagine what a network of airships at scale could do. This is my home country and our home market of South Africa, where we envision, and ultimately all over the world, a network of these aircraft looking out at our infrastructure, our nature, catching emergencies and getting ahead of problems as they occur. This is what's possible with our platform. Thank you.
Right, thank you so much, Spencer. Incredible work. And last but not least, we have Sára from Phlox Intelligence. Over to you.
Hi, everyone. $40 billion. That is the cost of collisions with wild animals only last year. And it's getting worse. In fact, accidents like these have become a daily occurrence, causing massive economic, safety, and climate problems. An encounter can cost easily over $1 million, and it can also impact a community's mobility in minutes with disruptions, delays, emergency response, and also reputational damage. When we look at what is being used today, there's a lot of different legacy solutions on the market, like pyrotechnics, scarecrows, or frightening devices. And these don't work so well, and animals either end up habituating or they can also yeah, they don't really work because it's also very labor heavy and they are not data-based. But what if there was actually another way? What if instead of fighting wildlife, we could communicate with them in a language that they actually understand and use already? I'm Sára, and I founded Flux 5 years ago at an AI research lab in Stockholm, Sweden. And besides my career in transportation, I've always been very passionate about languages and wild animals, and this is where they actually intersect. You see, animals are actually communicating almost constantly. They talk to each other about danger, about territory, or even just for fun. They have very complex communication systems, and some species even have names for each other. And now, with the latest developments in the field of artificial intelligence, we can finally start decoding what it is they have been saying all along. And not only that, we can use it to tell them to stay away from critical infrastructure and danger zones with no harm and no habituation. So we built a translator that lives in the field. You can think of it as a new communication layer for infrastructure that is actually able to talk to wild animals in real time. Meet Edge, our intelligent wildlife deterrent. It's a unit that is built for harsh real-world environments, like remote places, extreme weather conditions. We have longest battery life on the market and also longest range. What each unit does is it observes its environment, it can deter animals, and it can also learn with each interaction. It's multi-species and multi-model, so it works in a different way with speaking to a geese or to a deer or even a mountain lion. And everything that the unit sees and does, it gets logged into our wildlife platform, where we can also generate regulatory reports for authorities. So far, we have deterred successfully over 60,000 animals away from critical infrastructure and danger zones. So these are tens of thousands of moments where an animal haven't really been on a runway or train track or a roadway. So today we are trusted by both leading enterprises, authorities, and NGOs in both North America and in Europe, including major airports, infrastructure owners, and mobility leaders. And yeah, so if you also struggle with wildlife, let us help you like we helped them. Because it's not really, like the goal is not really to win over wildlife, but it's really to create a world where humans and wildlife coexist. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sára. And let's give a round of applause to all three companies for sharing about their world-changing technologies. So we have, innovation coming from Africa, the US, Europe. I think that's a great reflection of what SAND is also about. We have, staff footprint, a business impact footprint across several continents, and are very keen to engage with incredible sensors and technologies that can ultimately allow our governments, our infrastructure to make more informed decisions with better data. So thank you so much for attending this session, and looking forward to engaging with you guys for the rest of the day. Bye.